On this episode, you're going to get a raw, unedited version of the Ask Jason show because there's something that I think we've maybe been messing up a little bit that we need to fix, and this is your opportunity to see the truth behind the Ask Jason show. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey, and this is episode 44 of the Ask Jason show. Now, I gotta tell you a secret. This whole Ask Jason show thing, we preach that it exists, and this is true, it exists because we want to be able to provide you with a resource where you can get valuable real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. And that's true. But in order to be able to deliver a message to somebody that's really important to them, and it's information that they should have, you very first thing that you need is to have their attention. And it's very difficult to get somebody's attention if you're very long, drawn out, boring, and uninteresting. So for that reason, the Ask Jason show is very often an exaggerated version of my own personality because it provides an entertainment value. And when there's an entertainment value, you can come back and you can watch again next week and the week after and the week after. And then if I see something that happens in our market, like towards the end of 2017 when we lost 506 listings overnight and that changed the balance of buyers versus sellers, I had an important message to deliver that was good for you to hear in that particular moment. If not for the entertainment value of the Ask Jason show, I wouldn't have a channel through which to deliver that to you. Now, the difference here is, if you've been following along or you know myself or the lovely and talented Director Joe personally, you might know that we're good human beings. We genuinely care about the person on the other side of the table more than we do about ourselves. So that results in us saying things like, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, which is true. But if you don't know me and you just see this high energy guy on the Ask Jason show who's doing all these things and it's like a lot of bravado and a lot of ego and fearlessness in the things that you're saying and everything is said with so much confidence, if you don't know the man behind that and you don't know the story that goes behind creating this type of thing, you might very easily, and I don't blame you, I would too, draw the conclusion that that guy's an egotistical turd. I do not like this person. Why would anybody want to hang out with him? He's just like too much for me. And I would 100% understand that impression. So that's my fault because in communication you have two things. There's the sender and there's the receiver. So I send you a message and you receive the message. The intent I have behind what I'm telling you becomes completely, totally irrelevant if your interpretation of it misfires with what I intended to send you. And that's my fault. And I think oftentimes here at the Ask Jason show, me and Joe through association get misunderstood because the entertainment value provides the opportunity for us to deliver important messages to you that are good for you. So if this was this boring statistical analysis show, you might not tune back in. So we put little sound bites in there that are calculated, but maybe a little bit less calculated than they should be. So I guess in summation for this whole thing is what you're getting is an exaggerated version of the reality of a human being who cares deeply about the message that he is trying to deliver. And behind that, there's somebody who cares deeply about what happens to you and the decisions that you make and how they affect you and your family and your financial longevity and your real estate decisions. So that's why the Ask Jason show exists. And if you watch this through to the end, to the credits, and you always should, because at the end, the post-credits, Joe sneaks in these little hilarious things. I don't know if anybody ever watches, up until, he's chuckling now, up until the very end. I don't know if anybody watches it, but you definitely should because there's always some hilariousness there. But prior to getting that, you'll hear me say, while there's a couple of logos of businesses that I place a lot of trust in, you'll hear me say the Ask Jason show exists. I did it just then. Ask Jason show. The Ask Jason show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. And then I make a joke about how I care more about my mom than I do about you. But I think that's fair. I think I should care more about my mom than I do about you. Anyway, I think I'm ranting now. I think, but that's what happens. Anyway, my intention is far less important than your interpretation of the message that I'm sending. And when I say things like, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, what I really mean is that if I were afraid to speak my mind, I couldn't deliver things to you that are valuable to you, that cause you to make better decisions than you otherwise would have. And on the heels of all of this, Joe and I are planning a new show for the Ask Jason show. And this new show will be sort of documentary style, where we'll bring people in to tell real estate stories. And we might even like blur out their faces and make them sound like Darth Vader, because privacy is incredibly important in this business. And I don't care who your realtor was, that doesn't matter. If you have a story to tell, we want to hear your story, and then we want to offer commentary on how we would have managed that real estate related situation and what changes could have happened. And maybe what you have to say went perfectly. That would be incredible. I'd be really happy to know that your experience was lovely. That would be wonderful. But it'll also give it'll also give us an opportunity. My daughter watches a ton of Scooby-Doo. It'll also give us an opportunity to show you the other side of who we are as professionals in the real estate industry. So, until next time, the Ask Jason Show is here to provide good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Holy cow. I spiked that on the volume, I bet. But we're good people at heart. We care deeply about you. And we can't wait for a big 2018 of all kinds of wonderful things and helping lots of people make good decisions. We love you. Joe, do something in front of the camera so they know you love them too. You and your thumbs is ups. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you. I live...